you this evening? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to leave this angle like this because I just cannot be bothered to hold the camera. Is this going to... Okay, anyway. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more. Of course, there is a whole percussion section performing right next to me. I hope this is not distracting. I'm very sorry. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more. Should I close the door? I wanted to talk to you but a little bit more about the plot that I uncovered. In my last video, I talked about how the people ended up on my radar thanks to the Super Bowl. Then I talked about how the story started to come together when I saw an actor on a late night talk show dropping the name of the football team owner who I knew was trying to get a little action for some reason. I could just pick that up. I picked up he wanted to be the star of the show. And the next thing I saw about this football team owner was a news story in which it states that the Russian dictator, I'll just say his name because who gives a shit, Vladimir, I don't know how to say his last name, Putin, was in possession of two of the football team owner's Super Bowl rings. Now, the story that I heard and read really poorly explains how the dictator came in possession of one ring. The story went that the guy walked up to the football team owner, took the ring off of his finger, put it on his own finger, said, "I could kill a man with this," and then walked away. It sounds like a comic book villain story. It sounds like some shit from like Batman. Or one of those 007 movies. But that's a great story that very poorly explains how the man came in possession of one ring. And I thought to myself, like, why on earth would this guy have two of this dude's Super Bowl rings? And then I thought back to the history of the team. Now, this team was embroiled in some scandals many, many years earlier. I believe this to be at the beginning of this group's grift. And the scandals were called Deflategate and Spygate, in which this team was using espionage, Russian espionage tactics to cheat. I believed that the Super Bowl rings were given to the dictator by the football team owner for helping him cheat his way to the Super Bowl. And they won the big game, and they got the ring from the Deflategate, from the Spygate, from whatever they didn't get caught up on. And the guy, as a gesture of thank you, gave him the rings from the Super Bowl. That was the next element that came together for me. And I started to see a theme emerge. There is another actor who happened upon my radar, and he happened to be making a movie about the town, the people, the celebrity, all of it was part of the grift. And then when I see Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and other various characters who you will see and are named later at the inauguration of the sitting president, it really started to come together, because when this the incumbent president went on and on about how great these two guys were and how much fun they've had over the last year and blah, 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 it was very clear what was up. The hysteria around the election was very clearly brainwashing. That is MK Ultra Monarch programming. And they clearly used a film company owner, the football team owner, the media that they had at their disposal, and all of their influence to create a mass hysteria around the election. Then they pushed the narrative that there was election fraud. However, they wanted everyone focused on the actual ballots. They wanted people focused on the Electoral College. They wanted people focused on everything but the MK Ultra. Meanwhile, people were ripped into such a frenzy that there were people moving across the country to get away from their family because they voted differently in an election. That's not normal. Just like nothing that happened during COVID is normal for flu season. It was all generated. It was all generated by this group. And that is the truth. And because I left this information online, they ended up targeting me. They ended up recruiting both of the actors who were already recruited. I mean, they were already in it, to try and target me as well with some bullshit. And it did not work. Nothing that they did worked. And they failed all of their missions. And now I will publicly humiliate them. Thank you very much. I've already done it in my book, Dark World Light Work. And I missed, oh wait, I moved my hair. Anyway. anyway, I've already done it in my book, Dark World Light Work, and I will do it publicly here as well. Okay, thank you. Love you. Bye. Oh, hello, friends. There is just one more thing I wanted to note. The scandal or the scam behind the election was not the only thing that I picked up during this time. If you look at my Spotify, you can see a lot of playlists, especially the ones that are from like the 2017-18 era. The playlists were a lot of premonitions, and I do believe that's what really got me targeted, because it wasn't until after I posted a playlist on the history of human trafficking in the United States of America, which was something I didn't even really understand at the time. The playlist really illuminated me to the fact that it was even going on, and I never understood the level to which Hollywood was related to it. But that was the playlist that I posted, and then a few days later, the cops showed up at my door. It was either that one or the one where I implicated a major film director in a decades-long pederasty ring. It was one of the two of those that really brought them knocking. I ended up on their radar when they ended up on mine about the 2016 election scandal, and then things just ramped up. And the interesting thing is, once these people realized that I was spiritually based, they started to do witchcraft to try and combat my spiritual energy. I know it sounds crazy. It just sounds really bizarre that human beings would do this sort of thing, but it's true. And the whole thing has turned into quite a mess for everybody involved. And the places have been traded, and karma is rearing its head. And the thing that these people are experiencing is justice that is poetic. When something bad happens in their life, they know exactly why. And it is karma for what they did to me, because there is no reason for anyone to have targeted me, because all I was doing was just telling the truth. And I will continue to do so, and we will break them all down to the marrow of the bone. You can just call me the vegan butcher. Oh, okay, the sun is going down, but this, you do not have to, oh my gosh. The best part of this whole story is that you do not have to take my word for this. There is evidence of what these people have done and have been doing all over the place. It is all over the place, all over the place. So you can listen to this story right now. And you can believe it if you want to or not, but eventually you will get to see all of the evidence. The evidence is all over the place. So you can hear this story right now. You do not have to take my word for it if you don't want to. If it sounds too sensational for you, that's fine. Eventually, you will be able to have absolute proof that what I'm saying is true. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's getting dark. Let me lie. Okay, so after the story about the Super Bowl ring, we cut to after the election, where there is mass hysteria, where people have claimed that there was election fraud. Right after the election, they hold some kind of hearing, or they do something where they question people about this. I happened to be watching the news that day. The first person that was called to testify and made it on the news and was once again featured in a movie-style shot, getting off of some plane and walking somewhere to go get into a car to go to the courtroom or whatever. None other than Tweedledum, the owner of the football team. Why would he be called to testify first about election fraud if he's just the owner of a football team? And the reason why they made it a news story is because the motherfucker wanted to be famous for it. It's like a serial killer who leaves a calling card and then goes to the scene of the crime to check out the freaking news story. The guy could not fucking stop, and they still can't stop. And if you look on my Spotify, the playlist that I made about them is from, I think, 2017 or 2018, and I'm not playing around. I will not stop until these motherfuckers are brought to justice. Thank you.